Joining me now from Atlanta, Georgia, Executive Director of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump 2020, Bruce LeVell. Bruce, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steph.
So, Bruce, I wanted to get your reaction to the Hunter Biden email bombshell, if you will, that was released by the New York Post. And I also want to hear your thoughts on the censorship happening on Twitter and on Facebook.
Yeah, well, it's terrible. You know, I think the American people need to go back and do a little history lesson on Rudy Giuliani. I mean, remember this, Giuliani, he went after the mob, for crying out loud, So, I'm sure, stay tuned because there's more information that's about to come out. And it's kind of sad and unfortunate, but this is something that gets back to what the president promised from day one, is to drain the swamp. And the swamp is all across the aisles, left, right, middle, what have you. And this is something that's been going on for decades, and they thought that they were going to get a pass on this. So I just say stay tuned because I know there's more coming.
Yeah. And again, we don't know everything about the New York Post reporting. The reporters there defend their work, and they've provided emails and photos and everything. And you can question where this came from. It came from some laptop shop in Delaware and how it got there and this and that. But based on the information that we've been presented and the way things normally work, no one's ever not posted something of negative about President Trump on Twitter. Like, Twitter doesn't censor bad articles about Trump. So, Trump is calling this election interference, and I think you could make that argument.
Yeah. Well, I just heard Senator Cruz wants to do a hearing on the CEO of Twitter to get to the bottom of this. But, it's kind of sad, Stephanie, because I was thinking about for the 5 years I've been out here stumping for the president, and I can just give you a stack of comments, what I've been called the most vile racist comments towards me as a black conservative that would just make your toes curl if you saw some of the language that was presented to me. And you would think that, well, why don't you censor that? But, it's gotten really bad that the fact that they're trying to interfere. And Senator Ted Cruz just came out on another network and just announced that this is literally interfering with an election process.
Yeah.
So this is some serious business right here, Stephanie. It really, truly is for our republic, for all Americans, Democrat or Republican.
Exactly. And again, this story isn't anything new. Like, we've been talking about this for the past year about Hunter Biden's involvement in other countries and him making money and deals while his dad was the vice president of the United States. And the mainstream media kind of covered it. They asked him some kind of tough questions, but then it fell out of the news cycle. And we have a clip of an interview that he did on ABC News not too long ago. Roll tape.
What were your qualifications to be on the board of Burisma?
Well, I was vice chairman of the board of Amtrak for 5 years. I was the chairman of the board of the UN World Food Program. I was a lawyer for Boies Schiller Flexner, one of the most prestigious law firms in the world.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah, no.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
I don't know. Probably not. I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
So it's interesting there. He admits that having the last name Biden helped him, get these gigs.
Yeah. Well, this is a check. This is a check and balance for the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up, because anything, and if you notice, Obama and a lot of folks are very quiet, Stephanie. The other thing, too, is that this is what we call the generational curse that the president promised in his campaign promise to unravel and to do away with pay to play and special interests. And they are dead quiet. Listen, if that was my child and they were accusing me of accusing my child of all these emails and they were false, Stephanie, I would be screaming to the highest mountain, rebuttaling this. And if you notice, they haven't commented on all these emails. But just stay tuned. The nation's most famous top cop, Rudy Giuliani, has been on your network many times. I guarantee you he always gets his guy, like they said in the FBI. He will get his guy on this. So stay tuned, because there's more coming.
Yeah, and I have another video throwback here. It's of Joe Biden bragging about bribing Ukraine to fire the prosecutor that was investigating his son's company. Roll tape.
We're supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Interesting. And you know, I'm young enough to remember when the media was having, they were just like in a total frenzy when President Trump asked Ukraine to look into potential corruption that was committed by the Bidens. It's not that it was necessarily going after Biden, it's just he was looking at corruption.
Yeah. And you know, the biggest thing and the biggest travesty of this all is the fact that we have a candidate for the president of these United States of America, Stephanie, who has a track record of taking money from China and the Ukrainian government and a Russian mayor of millions of dollars through his son and his family. And he is on the ticket as a Democratic candidate for the presidency of this great nation. You want to talk about a conflict of interest? You want to talk about undermining safety and security of this great nation? Stephanie, what else is there? Stay tuned, it's coming. And thank God President Trump stepped out here and sacrificed everything and ran on a ticket, not taking any money from any special interest group or pay to play. He's proven that this works, but this is part of many, many more to come from other folks. And listen, Biden's family ain't the only one. Stay tuned. There's more involved with this that have took the money of pay to play and think it's okay and that the American people are going to give it the pass. I don't agree with that.
Well, they call it the swamp for a reason, as you pointed out.
Well, the swamp is both sides. It doesn't say what part. It's all, everybody,
Yeah.
no matter who you are.
Definitely. Well, I can say that President Trump's not getting richer being president. In fact, I think he lost money. So we know that he doesn't owe anything to any other countries right now.
No.
Really quickly, I want to shift gears here and get your thoughts on the dueling town halls happening tonight. Biden and Trump will be at their own town halls on separate networks. Of course, predictably, liberals are freaking out that NBC is giving the president of the United States a platform. The audacity.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, listen, you'll see one side where they'll have thousands of a packed auditorium, and you see another side that will have one or two, or maybe one person clapping where you could hear the echo. So that's going to be the differences, I can tell you right now, in terms of the attendance and the excitement.
How do you think the Presidential Debate Commission has treated the candidates? A lot of people say that they're very biased and the Debate Commission's full of Trump haters.
Yeah, well, I think the Biden camp is totally elated. They're in love, but unfortunately, from President Trump's side, you know, it's a travesty. And you know, we see all the patterns on who's on the board and who makes the decisions, and that in itself needs to be totally overhauled. And we saw what we've had in the moderators as it relates to Chris Wallace and the lady that came on there. So you know, it's very evident, it's very clear that it's all hands on deck. You know, we're fighting the press, we're fighting the moderators, we're fighting Twitter, we're fighting the left, we're fighting the right, we're fighting the swamp, we're fighting, you know, this crazy Lincoln Project garbage that's out there. It's just coming in every direction. But listen, the great thing about it, it will not stop the momentum. The American people are waking up, Stephanie, and I know there's going to prevail because the righteous is going to rise out of all this chaos and lying, cheat, and deceit. So I'm very optimistic about the president going right back in that Oval Office on 2020. And I got my new tuxedo ready for the inauguration in January. I'm ready.
Well, my prediction for tonight is I believe that Trump will use this platform to bring up the Hunter Biden email bombshell scandal. So, because for a lot of people, it's probably will be the first time they've even heard of it. Well, Bruce, we're totally out of time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me.